My daughter's Girl Scout troop was interested in earning their archery badge, so I wanted to see if the least expensive bow and arrow set found online was actually any good.
Hi, Moondog here. Now, not every weapon that I review is a firearm. In fact, today I'm going old school, very old school. I'm going to be reviewing this bow and arrow kit. Now, my daughter's Girl Scout troop is earning their archery badge, so I thought I'd pick up a few extra bows and arrows for the girls in the troop to use. And my daughter already has a starter bow, in which case I bought this one at Big Five, which is a local sporting goods place, about a year ago. And but unfortunately, because of COVID, supplies are low on many things, and they were out of more bows. So I went to Amazon and picked this up. I thought that was the least expensive but decently reviewed bow and arrow kits, and this one is the Panda-R. And the first thing that I noticed when I first got it was, oh my gosh, this thing is tiny. Did I accidentally purchase a toy bow kit? And the name, Panda-R. All of these things did not bode well in terms of my confidence of what I just purchased. But let's take a look actually what you get inside. All right. So upon opening it up, one of the key things, one of the reasons I picked this up was it was about 30 bucks for this entire kit, and which is about how much I paid for this Barnett Quicksilver bow, but it only came with 2 arrows. This one comes with 6, so that's actually, you know, the right amount, I think, for a good practice session, especially for, you know, learning to use a bow. I mean, 2 arrows, just constantly shooting and then picking up 2 arrows at a time is kind of annoying. The fact that it comes with 6, you know, a half dozen this is the right amount. So it comes with 6 arrows, and you know, they were about on par to what I was expecting for a budget arrow kit. The arrowhead, this is a target arrowhead, and it's kind of dull, but that's typical for youth arrows. I guess the thinking is if it's not sharp, then it really can't hurt them. But to be honest, if you really wanted to, you could, you know, impale somebody with this, I suppose. But it is pretty dull. And what I found actually is this can be a little frustrating with new shooters. Because it doesn't stick into the target, into your bail or whatever target very well unless you're shooting into a cardboard box, because this oftentimes will just bounce off of your target bail, so that can be frustrating. So that's one of the reasons I don't recommend these dull starter ones. But you know, this will be fine for the girls, I think. And the feathers, the vanes are plastic, actually fairly thick plastic, unlike my carbon arrow. So, but I guess this would be good because, you know, this feels fairly durable, and the nocks are fair plastic. They look a tad brittle, but you know, it's a starter bow set. So this is pretty much what you'd expect to buy if you got it at Big Five or Walmart or something. So that's par for the course. I'm not going to knock it for that. So let's take a look at the bow itself. Comes with 1 arm, and the 2nd arm, and a string. String comes in a bag, and the arm, I can't tell if that's fiberglass or compressed PVC, but in any case, those are good materials for bows. In fact, if you go on YouTube, you'll find some DIY videos on how to create your own bow using PVC piping, which is the kind of piping you use to the white pipe that you would use for your lawn sprinklers. But you can make bows out of them, and this appears to be either that or fiberglass. And so this is the 2 parts of the bow. One arm is already attached to the handle, and the handle here, as you can see here, molded with a little shelf that for your arrow shaft. I don't know what this looks like, a loop for some sort of strap or something. I don't know what that is. If you happen to know what this is useful for, let me know in the comment section. I wonder if it's for attaching some sort of sighting mechanism that I don't know of. The Barnett bow comes with a sighting arm, which I never use and I never encourage my daughter to use, but you suppose it's useful, but I like to go a little more traditional with my aiming, so I never really use that thing. So maybe that's what it's for. I don't know. Like I said, tell me in the comments. So the one thing that this box did not come with, oddly enough, is instructions on how to assemble this bow. So I'll show you here because I think that's an oversight. Definitely did not come with any instructions. So you take your bow, and this is the lower half because you would hold it, you would grasp it like this, and you'd lay your arrow in this little shelf on either side depending on whether you're right or left-handed. And there's a little slot on the top, and that's where you stick the arm. Now, one thing this doesn't have, like my full-sized recurve bow, takedown bow, is it doesn't have any lock in it, so it just fits in like that, just by pressure, and it's kept in by the tension of the string. Oh, here's a note. I actually installed it in backwards. So just to be careful. You want this part, which curves, the hook, you want it facing forward. So that's the correct direction. And there is a line there, so maybe that's that indication that if you see the line, this white line, that's the part that faces you, or faces this direction. So you want the hook facing forward. So there you go. There is your bow assembled. Now I want you to note something here. This advertises itself as a recurve bow, and that's what you'll see in the listing. And you'll often see that in listings of beginner bow sets on Amazon or Walmart or anywhere else. In fact, this beginner bow set was also advertised as a recurve bow, but it's not. It is a straight bow. Look at here. You can even see it here, unstrung. This arm is straight. There's no recurve about it. Here, I'll show you what a recurve bow should look like. This is my takedown recurve bow, and as you can see, the arm curves away from where the string is. So the main curve is here, and then it curves back. This is why it's called a recurve. And you can see it on this bow, which is already strung, so you can see how it looks like. That would be the same curve, but because I've got it strung, it takes on this shape. But as you can see, the end curves away from the string. In this bow, now, and when it's fully strung, which I'll show you in a minute, there is no curve away from the string. So this is actually a straight bow, or sometimes called a long bow. But obviously, it's not that long. It's roughly about 58, 60 inches in width. This box was 29 inches, so this is obviously less than that. So, not that long. So it is a straight bow. All right, so let's take the string. Now this string type is, well, it's just a cord. I wasn't sure if this was going to be an infinite loop, or it's just a straight cord. Some sort of reinforced material with, I don't know, paracord or something else, but it is a cord. And it comes with finger savers, which are these rubber covers, and that's where your fingers would go over. So that's great for young or new shooters, so you don't have to buy them a glove, an archery glove, or a finger tab and teach them how to use that. They can just pull the string with their raw fingers. And to be honest, when I first learned archery at Boy Scout camp, we didn't have these things. We just used our fingers. But anyway, what you want to do is take your bow and figure out which is the top, and the top is, in this case, the area where you have the shelf and the handle here. You'd hold it like this. So this is the top of the bow. Then you want to look on the string and where the finger savers are. The finger savers are split up into two parts. There's the shorter end and the longer end. The shorter end denotes the top. So find the loop at the end of the short part and find the loop at the end of the long part, which is the bottom. So let's start with the bottom loop, and you want to string that into the hook of your bow arm, and then just put that down on the ground. Preferably if you have a soft surface like grass. You don't want to, I mean, you can put it on concrete like where I'm at, but that will potentially damage the end of your bow arm. So just put it at the tip of your shoe, not where your actual toe is, but a shoe, a leather shoe, or in my case, sneakers are perfectly fine. So just rest the end of your bow on your shoe, and then compress the top of your bow arm, and voila, there, you got it strong. Now, if you had a higher tension bow, I mean, this thing advertises at about 16 to 18 pounds. You'd have to wrap it around or use a bow stringer tool. So, but this is light enough that you could just compress it, and it helps actually if you're standing up. So let me just try that again. I'll show you standing up here, because you can apply much more pressure. Just press down, and there you go. That's how you unstring your bow. And again, to string it, just press down on the bow arm, and just fit the loop on the hook at the end of your bowstring. And you probably will need to adjust it, because you can see here it's not quite aligned. So I'm gonna turn it upside down, and again put it on the tip of my shoe, and there you go. Now the next thing you want to do is just find your level, aligning it with the bow arm. And it actually helps if you take an arrow and just hold it here, and you want right angles, and you want your arrow to be at a right angle to the string. So that's where you want to nock your arrow. So in which case, here you see that it's actually your finger saver is a little too low. So I'm just going to move it up a little bit. And you want to create a gap in your finger sabers to allow room for your arrow to notch. Now, I actually prefer to have it a little bit higher than this than this right angle. It helps keep the string from slapping the end of your hand or your arm. So I usually bring it up about a thumb's thickness up. But that's just me. So you can adjust it any way you want to. So there we go. Limb saver is all set up, and the bow is set up, ready to go. All right, so let's go test it out over at the range.
So I thought the best way to test out the Panda-R was to take my daughter to the archery range and have her try it out. Now, my daughter is familiar with shooting a bow and arrow, but what we found with this particular set was that the bowstring was much thinner than her bow, and that the arrows didn't securely nock onto the bowstring. I had to teach her the old school method that I learned in summer camp with a straight bow, where you actually have to hold the shaft on the bow with your index finger while simultaneously keeping the nock on the bowstring with 2 fingers on your draw hand. She eventually got it, but I think she preferred her green bow with the built-in arrow rest. Now, traditionalists may eschew arrow rests, but I really would recommend those cheap little plastic accessories. I know it's a modern convenience, but it really allows a new archer to concentrate on more important things than keeping their arrow on their bow. More important things like their draw, their aim, and their release.
Good. Can't really share the water, Joa.
I'm sorry?
Can I use the water back in
Yeah, but he has like a waterfall.
Actually fairly short.
Jesse, wait, stop.
Okay.
You guys. He has it there, so it doesn't matter for you. You guys just can't share the water.
Hold it with your end effect. Okay. Oh, all right. Yeah, you gotta hold it in place with your fingers. All right. These nocks are pretty wide, so they don't stay in, and the string's thinner than the other one. Okay.
Okay.
Focus.
Very good. You would have gotten it right on the red if these were at all sharp.
Yeah, it's not sharp at all.
Yeah, they're just pretty dull. They're for safety. There we go.
So next, I gave it a go. I found that I too had difficulty keeping my 30-inch carbon arrows knocked on the thin string. And the finger savers on the bowstring really don't lend themselves well to an Asian-style thumb draw. They really function better with an English-style three-finger draw. But what I did find after shooting it was that I was actually pleasantly surprised with this $30 bow. And for sure, you're going to want to upgrade from the dull safety arrows that come with a kit. But you're going to want to buy a bunch of extra arrows anyway, because believe me, beginner archers are going to lose and break arrows. And you can easily fix the arrow slipping out of the bowstring issue with just tying a thicker serving on the string. So if you're interested in picking up this bow set, I'll include a link in the video description. And if you enjoyed this video and found it to be at all helpful, please hit the like button and consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell to get more content like this. Thanks for watching. You be safe out there. Moondog, out. Hey, if you like this video, please share it on social media. You know, Facebook, forums, MeWe, whatever platform you're on. And if you want to see more videos, check out moondogindustries.com.